Hold on just a moment. Before you instinctively shoo your feline companion off your most beloved chair yet again, perhaps it would be wise to pause and consider matters from their particular vantage point. For you, it represents reclaiming your rightful spot after enduring a long and arduous day. But for your cat, it could very well feel like an act of inexplicable betrayal, a sudden and bewildering displacement from their safe haven. Does that assessment sound a little bit melodramatic? Possibly it does. But this quiet daily struggle for territory, which plays out in millions upon millions of living rooms across the entire world, is decidedly more than simply a cute domestic scene. It is, in essence, a head-on collision between two distinct civilizations, the human and the feline, each one operating according to its own clearly defined and unique set of rules. We humans often think we are simply asking them to move over a little bit. They, on the other hand, perceive the most important, most reliable ally in their entire life, their constant source of warmth, consistent food supply, and unwavering security, suddenly transforming into a significant threat, rudely displacing them from their cherished island of stability. In this invisible, unspoken war, there is much more at stake than merely the right to a soft and comforting blanket. What is truly on the line, hanging in the balance, is trust. A fragile and precious currency that is extraordinarily easily lost and almost entirely impossible to regain once it has been broken. So, what truly goes on inside a cat's intelligent head when we so carelessly disrupt their hard-earned peace? Let us explore in detail exactly why what seems like a completely harmless act to us can permanently damage your precious relationship with your beloved pet. In order to truly understand feline logic and reasoning, we need to completely abandon human concepts such as ownership or possession. When a cat gracefully jumps onto your comfortable sofa, it is not attempting to claim it in any way. It is instead doing something far more crucial and instinctual, expanding its intricate security map, ensuring its continued safety and well-being. Imagine, if you will, a world where you navigate primarily by scent, rather than by sight. For a cat, your entire home is an intricate, multi-layered map composed of a wide array of aromas and scents. And the single most important markers on that elaborate map are undoubtedly its own. When a cat lovingly rubs its cheeks or flanks against a table leg, the corner of the sofa, or your own legs, it is not simply being affectionate towards you. It is diligently marking its territory, ensuring its continued sense of security within its surroundings. Special glands located on their face, paws, and tail meticulously secrete pheromones, unique chemical signatures that are completely invisible to us humans but crystal clear and easily discernible to them. Each and every one of these carefully placed markings is a message that is left for itself: I was here. It is safe here. This is my territory. These subtle scents collectively create a comforting bubble of confidence and security. The sofa, the chair, the rug, these are not simply inanimate pieces of furniture. They are strategic outposts, strongholds carefully infused with its own personal scent of tranquility and safety. Now, picture this particular scenario: you abruptly pick up your cat and banish it from its safe island, its established place of comfort and security. In its world, this is roughly the equivalent of someone suddenly erasing key landmarks from your own personal navigation map in the middle of an entirely unfamiliar city. You are not simply asking it to move over a little bit, you are destroying its deeply ingrained sense of stability and predictability. You are not merely invading its property, but its carefully constructed personal security system, making the defenseless animal feel extremely vulnerable in a place where it should rightfully feel completely protected and secure. If the armchair represents the very center of a safe and secure territory, then the doorway of a room represents its boundary, its customs checkpoint. And here, another drama of misunderstanding commonly unfolds. You have likely experienced this frustrating situation: a cat approaches a doorway and freezes completely in its tracks. It simply stands or sits there, gazing thoughtfully into the void, effectively blocking the passage for anyone else. The first thought that typically crosses a human's mind is, it is spacing out again. Did it completely forget where it was going? Or is it simply doing this to deliberately annoy me? But there is absolutely no laziness or spite involved in this behavior. What we are actually witnessing is a highly trained security specialist diligently at work. For a cat, a doorway is far more than simply a transition from one room to another. It represents a boundary between familiar, vetted territory and a brand new space that needs to be carefully assessed for potential threats. When a feline pauses at the threshold of a doorway, it initiates a rather complex and fascinating scanning process. Those magnificent ears act as sensitive radar, diligently picking up even the slightest rustle or murmur emanating from within the new room. Its delicate nose meticulously analyzes the subtle air currents, searching for any unfamiliar or potentially alarming scents that might linger within. The cat's keen eyes carefully evaluate the entire surrounding environment, constantly searching for any sign of movement and identifying potential hiding places should the need arise. Essentially, the creature is conducting a rapid and thorough risk assessment before it dares to venture into what it perceives as uncharted territory. This is an ancient and deeply ingrained instinct, one that helped its wild ancestors survive in a harsh and unforgiving world by enabling them to avoid encounters with larger, more dangerous predators. And what do we as humans often do? We frequently attempt to nudge it forward impatiently with our foot or even try to push it unceremoniously through the doorway, thereby completely disrupting this sacred and essential ritual. For the cat, this is akin to someone rudely shoving a highly trained bomb disposal expert, who is carefully listening for the telltale ticking of a hidden mechanism, forward with the exasperated words, "Just go already." We are not simply inconveniencing the animal, we are forcibly pushing it into a space that its brain has not yet registered and marked as safe, and in doing so, we ourselves become a significant source of stress and unpredictability in its world. Now that we truly understand that the sofa is perceived as a vital security map and the doorway functions as a crucial border patrol, let us consider putting these two essential elements together. What exactly goes on within the intricate mind of a cat when we, its primary benefactor and supposed protector, repeatedly violate these invisible, yet deeply significant, rules? It is important to remember that cats do not think in terms of human morality. They possess no concept of fairness or right in the way that we do. Their world is constructed upon a simpler, more fundamental principle: the consistent presence of predictability. The owner, or caregiver, is at the very center of their universe. This individual is the being most closely associated with all the most positive and reassuring things in their lives: food, warmth, safety, and affection. A human, in essence, is a living beacon that signals that everything is okay and that the world is safe and secure. And now, this very beacon, this source of comfort and stability, suddenly begins behaving in an irrational and unpredictable manner. The very being that should be protecting them becomes a source of threat. It rudely kicks them off their carefully marked, safe territory. It forcibly pushes them beyond unassessed, potentially dangerous boundaries. In feline logic, this represents a complete system failure. The main guarantor of stability and safety becomes unpredictable and unreliable. Today, it is petting them affectionately. Tomorrow, it is displacing them from their cherished spot. Today, it is feeding them generously. Tomorrow, it is causing them significant stress. This inconsistency completely destroys the foundation of basic trust. The animal no longer understands what to expect from us, and this creates a deep sense of insecurity. This is what we might call betrayal in their language. The cat does not think, "My owner is bad." Instead, it thinks, "The world around me has become chaotic and dangerous, and the source of this danger is the one that I trusted most implicitly." As a result of this perceived betrayal, the cat might begin avoiding us, hiding away, exhibiting signs of aggression, or displaying general anxiety. It is not seeking revenge or plotting retribution. It is simply trying desperately to survive in a world that has suddenly and inexplicably ceased to be understandable and safe for it. So, we have firmly established that using force in any form inevitably destroys trust. But what do you do if you really need to? Sit in your favorite chair? The answer is surprisingly simple. Instead of resorting to the language of force, we need to master the art of feline diplomacy. Your ultimate goal is not to forcibly drive the animal away, but to make it genuinely want to leave on its own accord, and ideally to do so happily. This is actually much easier to achieve than it initially sounds. Here are a few proven diplomatic techniques that you can employ, an offer they simply cannot refuse. This is the key underlying principle. If you require a specific spot, make another spot even more appealing and enticing. Prepare a carefully considered plan B well in advance. Place a soft blanket that your cat absolutely loves on the sofa next to your chair, or bring in its favorite cardboard box, the one it simply cannot resist. Then, instead of shooing it away rudely, call it gently and enticingly and show it the new, carefully prepared spot. You can even use a lure, a favorite treat or a cherished toy, to further entice it. The message that the cat receives changes dramatically. I am not being evicted from a comfortable spot against my will, I am being invited to an even better and more desirable place. My human genuinely cares about me and my comfort. Creating a positive ritual. Felines, those enigmatic creatures that share our homes, respond remarkably well to training when it is rooted in the principles of positive reinforcement, a method that emphasizes encouragement rather than coercion. An essential element of this approach is to develop a clear and consistent conditional signal, a cue that gently asks the cat to vacate a particular spot. This signal could manifest as a simple snap of the fingers, or perhaps a quietly spoken word, such as place or come here. The paramount consideration is that the chosen signal remains constant and unchanging. When you wish the cat to relocate, deliver the signal, and simultaneously point towards the alternative, designated spot. The instant the cat complies with your request, immediately reward its cooperation with generous praise, affectionate petting, or a delectable treat. Over time, and with consistent application, the animal will begin to associate the sound not with the stress of eviction or displacement, but rather with a pleasant and predictable ritual, one that heralds the coming pleasure of attention or a tasty morsel. Both of these methods, the consistent signal and the positive reinforcement, pursue precisely the same overarching goal: to transform what could potentially be a source of conflict into a positive and harmonious interaction. You, the human companion, cease to be perceived by the cat as an unpredictable and arbitrary force of nature, and instead, you evolve into an understandable, honest, and trustworthy partner, one with whom the cat can always engage in a process of reasoned communication and mutual understanding. Ultimately, the story of the cat and the armchair is not merely a lesson confined to the realm of animal psychology. It serves as a powerful and resonant metaphor for the entirety of our relationship with the world that surrounds us, both animate and inanimate. We as humans are accustomed to thinking of ourselves as owners and masters, not only within the confines of our own homes, but also on the scale of the entire planet. We often act based solely on our own immediate convenience and desires, frequently without giving due consideration to how our actions may affect those who are weaker or more vulnerable than ourselves, those who are unable to express their disagreement or dissent in words that we readily understand. The cat comfortably ensconced in the chair serves as a small, furry, and constant reminder that the world does not, in fact, revolve solely around us and our needs. Understanding its invisible boundaries, respecting its established rituals and its unique language, is the very first step towards achieving a fundamental paradigm shift in our thinking. It represents a step away from the ingrained mindset of an owner, who believes they can afford to do anything they please, and towards the more enlightened mindset of a neighbor, one who is wise, attentive, and deeply empathetic to the needs and sensitivities of others. By learning to negotiate with a cat, rather than simply commanding it to obey, we cultivate a quality that humanity needs now more urgently than ever before: the ability to perceive and understand the world through the eyes of another being, to walk, even briefly, in their paws. We become not only better owners to our beloved pets, but also, and perhaps more importantly, we become better human beings. And then, our home transforms into something far more profound than just a mere apartment or house. It becomes a space of true trust and genuine harmony, where both human and feline companion feel not like object and owner, but rather like cherished members of one cohesive family, living together in a shared, safe, and happy territory, bound by mutual respect and affection.